Bienvenue à Monsieur le chef de gouvernement du Maroc sous vos applaudissements.
Please welcome the Prime Minister of the Morocco.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Monsieur le chef de gouvernement,
Excellency Heads of Government, Honorable Minister of Agriculture of Côte d'Ivoire, distinguished Minister, Under Minister in charge of Public Investment of Morocco, Honorable Minister of Finance of Niger, and distinguished Chairman of CVRM, distinguished CEO of OMVEE, and Excellency Ambassador of Morocco to Côte d'Ivoire, honorable guests, I deem it a pleasure today to be in this room with a large turnout to share this session on Invest in Morocco with you, a session that was branded Co-Investing in Value Chains for a Common Prosperity. And this is topical today in Africa in terms of how we can build this Africa of tomorrow. How can we co-invest? And today it is the Kingdom of Morocco which steps forward with a proposed investment project on the continent and also in Morocco with actors from the continent and international actors. And of course, there's nothing best place than pictures to depict a number of things. So as a start, I would like to ask you to
Depuis la nuit des temps, nous partageons la même histoire. L'histoire d'une Afrique à la fois plurielle et singulière. Il y a très longtemps, les caravanes partaient du Maroc pour sillonner les pistes africaines, creusant le berceau d'une culture que nous avons toujours en partage. Nous avons aussi une destinée commune. Lorsqu'est venu le temps des indépendances, nous nous sommes retrouvés à Casablanca pour envisager ensemble l'avenir de notre continent libre. Aujourd'hui, sous l'impulsion de Sa Majesté le roi Mohamed VI, le Maroc est devenu l'une des économies les plus dynamiques d'Afrique. Tanger Med, premier port à conteneurs d'Afrique, est connecté aux principaux ports africains. La compagnie nationale Royal Air Maroc est une des plus importantes sur le continent. Premier pays d'Afrique doté d'un TGV, devenu en quelques années une référence internationale pour l'utilisation des énergies renouvelables. Leader mondial des phosphates et des engrais pour nourrir durablement la planète. Le Maroc a acquis un savoir-faire et une expérience dans de nombreux domaines qu'il ne demande qu'à partager avec ses partenaires. Sa Majesté le roi Mohamed VI a effectué une cinquantaine de visites dans une trentaine de pays du continent. Elles ont donné lieu à la signature d'1 millier d'accords. Le Maroc est ainsi devenu le deuxième investisseur africain sur le continent, où il joue un rôle économique de plus en plus important. Cette coopération repose sur un nouveau paradigme dans les relations africaines. C'est parce qu'il incarne cette Afrique qui fait confiance à l'Afrique que le Maroc participe à d'ambitieux projets de développement durable. Le gazoduc Nigeria-Maroc qui transportera le gaz nigérian jusqu'en Europe et qui générera du développement socio-économique dans les pays traversés. Le Fonds bleu pour le bassin du Congo, décidé lors du sommet africain de l'action de Marrakech pour une meilleure gestion de la forêt et des eaux du fleuve Congo. Des complexes de production d'engrais, notamment en Éthiopie, qui permettront d'améliorer la fertilité des sols et de contribuer à l'autosuffisance alimentaire. Ou encore des programmes de préservation des ressources en eau et de développement des énergies renouvelables, afin d'améliorer les conditions de vie des populations. Dans ce contexte, c'est tout naturellement que le Maroc a retrouvé sa place historique au sein de la famille africaine.
Il est beau le jour où l'on rentre chez soi, après une trop longue absence. Il est beau le jour où l'on porte son cœur vers le foyer aimé. L'Afrique est mon continent et ma maison.
Le Maroc ne manque jamais une occasion de défendre la cause africaine sur la scène internationale. L'influence de Sa Majesté le roi Mohammed VI est également spirituelle et religieuse. Incarnant un islam de la tolérance et du dialogue, il a créé à Rabat un institut de formation des imams qui a un grand rayonnement en Afrique. Avec une population appelée à doubler d'ici 2050, le continent africain va devoir relever ensemble de multiples défis. Le Maroc est très engagé sur le continent pour préparer cet avenir qui commence aujourd'hui. Il crée des structures médicales offrant l'accès aux soins au plus grand nombre. Il construit des écoles. Il accueille plus de 10 000 étudiants africains dans le royaume. Il permet l'épanouissement des talents par la construction de centres de formation professionnelle dans plusieurs pays, permettant aux jeunes de répondre aux besoins des marchés. Parce que si nous avons la même histoire, nos destins sont aussi liés pour construire ensemble notre avenir commun.
So building the Africa of tomorrow together, an Africa that should trust in Africa. This is the purpose. And to set this rolling, I'm going to ask the Minister of Investment and Convergence as well as Public Policy Evaluation to join me on the stage. Thank you, Abdou. Good day to all of you. Distinguished head of the government of Morocco, Honorable Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, distinguished Senior Minister of Agriculture of Cote d'Ivoire. This is humbly deserved. Excellency, ministers and ambassadors of His Majesty the King to Cote d'Ivoire, Excellency Chairman of the Confederation of Businesses of Morocco, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the General Directors and Directors, dear friends, good day. I deem it a great pleasure to rise before you here in Abidjan, in Cote d'Ivoire, this beautiful country that I uphold. Cote d'Ivoire is a sister country of Morocco, and each of my trips here come with a lot of optimism because its development is manifest. Optimism because Cote d'Ivoire showcases the promising trajectory of Africa, which is gradually moving towards a larger prosperity. And as I'm speaking today, the world is sprayed to a difficult economic situation. Fortunate enough, Africa has what it takes to turn challenges into opportunities. And this is why I would like to warmly thank the teams from the Morocco Development Institutes and the Hazard firm who brought us together today so that we can come up with common solutions to help the continent to achieve new ambitions. Ladies and gentlemen, these ambitions are built on its tremendous potentials. There's no need to recall the great potential of this continent, which once transformed will help feed the continents. And it's true and adapted that Africa has what it takes to feed the world in green energy. And also, this includes its young population, which is a great asset. Africa is rich of its value and cultures promoted by men and women with awesome talents who are always able to develop a new market of consumers. And instead of that, we prefer to see a new generation of generation that can transform lives. And excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Africa is embarking today on a new transition. But for it to achieve these objectives, there's still a long way to go. And for Africa, a prosperous Africa, to become a reality, countries on the continent have to join hands and work together. And such are the values that are promoted by His Majesty Mohammed VI, who has placed Africa at the center stage of its vision. And we still recall the meeting between Cote d'Ivoire and Morocco held here in Cote d'Ivoire. And I believe it's the same vision and trust that has led to the trip to over 50 African countries. Ever since His Majesty took up office, over thousands cooperation agreements were signed, and this made for our economic ties to be greatly improved and strengthened. And as I'm speaking, Morocco stands today as the leading investor in West Africa and second African investor on the continent. And today, we spare no effort to deepen our cooperation to turn our kingdom into an actor that plays a larger role for the development of the kingdom. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, under the leadership of His Majesty Mohammed VI, the kingdom stood as a great regional powerhouse with an economy that is well diversified, including the textile sector and the agri-business, which is ever growing in terms of competitivity. Along with this are the automobile and aeronautics sectors that are foremost for Africa, and our infrastructures are of a world-class level. And over 50 free trade agreements were signed to allow for actors to operate both in Africa, Europe, and in the US. And today, under the leadership of the sovereign, Morocco is embarking on a new phase of development, which promotes ambitious plans, and it is vying to promote the private sector. In this regard, Morocco has of recent signed a new investment charter which comes with a lot of unprecedented benefits for the economy of the kingdom. And this will pave the way for both sustainable and substantial growth that will be inclusive for all the citizens and the territories, and that is geared towards meeting the future challenges. And it also vies for turning challenges into opportunities. And today, Morocco stands as a privileged land for investments, and also as the leading investor in renewable energy in Africa. Morocco stands as a major actor which will contribute greatly to the decarbonization of the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, to go back or zero back to the topics of our meeting, Africa can rely on African champions, and our actors are displaying very excellent performance across the continent. And these include young female and male Moroccans who are decided to invest in more important projects. In Morocco, we usually say that we are currently experiencing a true Moroccan momentum, which should be shared by the entire Africa. And this cannot happen without a strong solidarity. In this regard, I'd like to call on all the political and economic actors to come together so that we can create conditions for a shared prosperity that will be sustainable and sovereign. And the conviction of His Majesty Mohammed VI, who said in 2016 at the African Union Summit, the South cooperation vision is clear, and my country shares all that it has without any reserve. Thanks.
Pour ce discours plein d'engagement et surtout ce bel appel à la coopération.
Thank you so much, Mr. Minister, for this speech. A call for cooperation, South-South cooperation, also call for value chain. This public sector is working with the private sector hand in hand. This is the reason why I will ask Mr. Seki Blenner, the Director General of the Employers Association of Morocco, to join the stage now.
Merci, cher Aldo.
Thank you, Cher Ndo, dear Head of Government, dear Minister of State, Minister of Agriculture, dear Minister, dear CEO, dear friends. I'm very happy to be with you here in Abidjan. Thank you for making it so numerous to this session on investing in Morocco. I can see so many faces that I already know today, just to show the importance of this African meeting, which is not to be missed, the African CEO Forum. After the speech of the minister, I will just share a few words. I would like to strengthen the fact that Morocco is a destination, and all the investment made by the kingdom under the leadership of the king, and also be it with macroeconomic infrastructure opening to markets, all these are real. Morocco is now considered as a hub of growth in Africa for many international investors. And today we have achieved 2.2 billion euro in 2022 compared to the figures of 2021. We are creating some ecosystem in sectors like aeronautics, automobile, agribusiness, new technologies, all this. And we know that we can do more because there are so many opportunities. Our ambition as private sector in Morocco is to establish some ecosystem, African complementary value chains with our African partners to take up the challenges that we are facing, climate change and so on, and also to strengthen African link with the African free trade area. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here as the chairperson of the Employers Association, and also as a business leader, manager. Given all the different factors of the success of Morocco lies in the resilience of its government, and also the fact of giving ears to the different stakeholders, and also namely we are aiming at growth and also creating some jobs after COVID-19, and also with inflation. We had to preserve activities, businesses through real measures. It is under this leadership and with this impetus that we are still doing our job with the operationalization of infrastructure, as the minister said. This brings some exceptional incentives to project bureaus, which can go up to 30% of the capex. The objective is to change the situation, to have 1/3 from the government and 2/3 from the private sector, as you said this morning. And we need to change our mindset. As a CEO in Morocco, we need to invest and create investment because all the ingredients are met. We also feel this change of mindset. We've replaced that innovation and research and development that is taking in our economy in Morocco. We have understood that we need to harness our technological ambition that is aiming at transforming our industries. Last week in Marrakesh, there was a big event on technology in Africa. The situation is there. Things are moving fast. We need to anticipate in order to take up the challenge and be part of the game. And as part of concerning renewable energies, Morocco is turning to decarbonization with a green energy, and also we are taking further actions. Companies are aware of the necessity for green transition, and they are committed toward it. This is a real opportunity in order to boost the opportunities and also the presence on international market, namely in Europe. Another major production factor is the land issue. We have many industrial areas which are connected to the production system. Some are set and others are being developed. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the key topic for investors is the tax system. During the development of finance law, Every year, we make proposal to a government in order to put in place a conducive environment. Last year, for instance, the tax, a specific tax had been put to 20% as the selling, and this is key. This is a problem for investors. The other one is a human capital. I think that the quality and competitivity of Moroccan human resources are a reality to foster the growth of the different sectors and also offer a balance between offer and demand in terms of training. Morocco has some training sessions which are piloted by the managers of the sectors themselves. To end my speech, I will also mention the quality of life in Morocco. Investors and expatriates and the families are at home. They feel at home there, like here in Abidjan. This is a key point. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with the government and also our association, we are ready to support you in your business in Morocco. Thank you for your kind attention. Wish you fruitful derivation. Thank you, Mr. President, for this call for co-construction and co-investment to all the different stakeholders here in this room and to support these two presentations and provide more details and insight on this investment environment in Morocco and also the different opportunities. Let me call now the person, Mr. Alice Deke, Director General of the Moroccan the Agency of Development and Investment in Morocco. Alice Sediki. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Head of Government, Your Excellency, Mr. Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Ministers, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors, I would like to thank you for your presence here. Thank you for giving the opportunity to share this topic with you. It is the one of co-construction and the South-South relationship that we are trying to establish with our sister countries, brother countries. But before that, let me share a small movie just to remind you the topic, which is Morocco Now.
Now is the time to ask the right questions. In any endeavor, there's always the ground and the tipping point. Ensuring stability for a high economy takeoff. People's trust towards their leaders and towards their will to uplift their societies. Investing in people to a better life. Giving an opportunity to develop their skills, their goals, and their vision to the world. Building infrastructure to connect within and reach the world. Calling for openness and make sure you have partners to trade with. And then there is the uniqueness. It could be your history. It could be your diversity. It could be how strategically you're located. It could be your culture. It could also be your dedication, or it could be your natural resources. But first and foremost, to reach the heights, you need a vision. Great ambitions. Stay focused and stick to the plan. Build upon the assets. Value the old and embrace the new. Keep on growing talents to face challenges. Always be sure you can fuel the growth. And that you have partners to overcome drawbacks together. Now is the time to be ahead. Now is the time for agility and sustainable acts. Now is your time.
Before diving deep on this, let us remind you what is Morocco in some few words and what is the strategy that has helped it be what it is on the continent. The first point, which is key, is the location. Where are we located? It We are at the crossroad of different countries, different continents, sorry, and there is a key point to remind. It is the originality of our political system. We are a monarchy. We have been a monarchy for 13 centuries, and we have a structuring of a nation that has allowed us to move to a democratic transition with some democratically elected leaders, a geography of more than 3,500 kilometers of coastline and 14 kilometers from Europe. The population is 36.6 million. We have a stable economic growth, and our GDP is distributed fairly. It's the primary sector, which is 14%, secondary sector 29.5%, and the tertiary sector 56.5%. As we said, it is a multicultural country. We speak many languages. We have two official languages, which are Arabic and Amazigh. We have other languages, which are French, English, and now Spanish. This cultural melting pot is what makes Morocco what we are. Coming back to our key assets, it is the vision, royal vision, that allows us to move forward with confidence. As I said, 13 centuries of kingdom, monarchy has allowed us to have a good ground, and thanks to the vision of our kingdom, we're able to develop our economy, to open our economy and develop our education. And today, with a new development model that is proposed by the king, our plan is clear enough: a productive and diversified economy that creates added value, human capital that is strengthened and better prepared for the future challenges, create opportunity for all, and also consolidate social links. And the key point is regionalization that will help us to have a real anchoring of economic development in all the different areas of the kingdom. Morocco is indeed equipped with a plan, and we know where we are. And this royal vision 2025 has been supported by all the different strategies, the industrial strategy, which is grounded on different plans, the emergence plan, the National Pact for Industrial Emergence, and also the fostering of the industry is still going on now, and we are now able to build a resilient ecosystem in different sectors. Today, the challenge is to encourage some partnership, and this is one of the key points in the co-construction of values. We also have to promote our resources at the continental level in Africa, and we also continue to be an attractive land for foreign investors. Agriculture, with the success that is known, the Green Morocco plan with Green Generation, which focuses its attention on human capital, on training of farmers and also entrepreneurs. The logistic aspect also is part of a vision, because as part of the internationalization of Morocco, we need to reduce the associated logistics costs, which are linked to its recent development. And this is in line with the South-South development and also the development of the other African countries. Digital aspect was mentioned by the leaders of Employers Association. It is one of the key pillars. It is ambitious, achieving our potential, full potential in the digital sector by 2025, just tomorrow. So more than 2,500 startups are involved. Energy has already recalled by the Minister of Investment. It is one of the key drivers of the economic growth of the kingdom, and just to be able to decarbonize and so take up the challenge of climate change. And now tourism, which is the key pillar of Morocco. By 2030, we have an ambitious objective to achieving more than 20,000 tourists per year. So we have a vision, a plan, which is expressed in strategy. And all these are built around some grounds, some pillars which are clean, economic growth, 3.5, sometimes more per annum. And this allows us to multiply our GDP by 3. And the other point which is well known is the possibility for Morocco to manage its economic aggregates. One of the fundamentals is inflation. Over the late years because of the Russian-Ukraine crisis and also the other problems. So Morocco is one of the champions in terms of inflation at global level. Now, why invest in Morocco? We call it Morocco Now. It is the momentum. Right now, you should come and harness the fruit of investment made in the past. And it is just a value proposal, easy to understand. We have been conducting some action over 20 years, some structural reforms of our economies, society, and infrastructure. And as the chairperson of CGM said, it is right now the time for the private sector to take up in order to harness the fruit, all this investment made by the public sector. There are different areas. First of all, we have a political vision, economic stability, access to the international markets without duty, custom duties, and you have seen the quality of our infrastructure, which is well known by all the different experts. Today, this is at your disposal, and you are privileged to be at a geographical position at the crossroads of Africa, Europe, and also having a young and qualified human resources, having a decarbonized energy. All these arguments are convincing in order to increase your interest for the African continent. Some rating. Morocco is growing. It is the first African investor in West Africa, the second African investor in Africa as a whole. The first, Casablanca Finance City, that will be presented as part of the discussions. It is the first African financial center. According to the rating, we have the second most attractive African country for direct foreign investments. And we have a third top African country in the Global Competitiveness Index, according to the World Economic Forum. Morocco is a destination that is in DNA. It has a welcoming and a support to investors. The economy has always been open, and up today we have a tool that allows us to deep dive in our support to investors, the Charter of Investment. This has never existed before in terms of support. It is up to 30% of the capex, which is in fact the support to equity fund that is requested by bankers, and we pay all the training fees for your staff. Training you is a standard, and the government supports this fees. We have a network of industrial zones with the best standard, and this is very attractive, with a reduced rate of flat rate fee that is 20% and 5-year tax exemption. We can also support you for the custom. We have a special economic zone different from the free trade areas. We have special economic zones where you have some custom facilities. You have a possibility to use the currency of your choice to do business with all the different operators in the area, and also facilitate your export operation. And the other key point is a good governance point. From end to end, we have a ministry dedicated to investments, an agency, and some regional centers for investment which are in the country, which are single windows to support you and follow your investment up to achieving its full potential. And this allows us we can follow you as investors from the development to the implementation of your projects. One of the key success stories is our youth. It is part of the competitivity we just mentioned. The average age is 29. Median age is 29 years compared to Europe, which is 44 years, 39 in the US. So the median age, 29, is the active population that has shown some competence, some skills, and that is able to take advantage of the political situation. We have some professional centers dedicated to the different sectors that we support, and we train young people in the movie. We said 150,000. This year there will be 180,000. Between the public and the private, there are some partnership according to the demands of the private sector through partnership signed with universities. And also these resources are not only qualified but competitive. When it comes to countries that are on the same segments like ours, in the same area, we can say that competitivity will make the difference. The industrial zone, to go very fast, just to share some pictures with you, we are talking about some zones that are in full capacity to support you from beginning to end. You can purchase, you can rent, you can purchase a building. All the possibilities are there, and there are interlocutors ready for help and respond to your need according to the size of your investment projects. We are ranked as the first country in Africa for infrastructure quality. And we invested, as we said, in order to develop a network of more than 1,800 kilometers of highways, 19 international airports, and we have the first high-speed train in Africa. This high-speed train will connect to big cities, Tanger city and Casa, which is one of the historical development pool and is still increasing. And also now Tanger Med, which is part of the Royal Vision. It is the first transshipping platform in the Mediterranean and African area. It connects 180 ports in the country with 71 countries, 14 kilometers from Europe, and we have 9 million containers. It is one of the most efficient ports, ranked by Standard & Poor's, just to give you an idea of the level of competitivity. Maybe one of the key points in our global offer is renewable energies. This has been said and also repeated, and this program has been mentioned by the Prime Minister of Côte d'Ivoire. It is an ambitious program that translates the vision of the king in the vision of decarbonization and green development. It is something that was just for developed countries, but Morocco took ownership in order to have some know-hows. Here we have this station, which is the largest in the world and the fifth in solar. The ambition was to have 42% of energy mix in 2022. We are close to 8. We are at 40 now. The target is 52 by 2030. We think that we will go up to this. And what is interesting is that not only we have green energies, but we also have one of the most competitive at global level. When you take the mixed energy mix, and you compare the solar in Morocco, you will have one of the most competitive in the world. This does not come from us, but it is just said by the Global Renewable Energy Agency. So the idea behind it is the transformation of value chains. You cannot make a presentation at the Africa CEO Forum on opportunity without mentioning the sourcing. The co-construction of these value chains between African states is just to harness opportunities that have been created by the countries that was presented here in Morocco, but we have exports. How can the other countries, can you take advantage, harness all these opportunities? First of all, when you are in Morocco, you don't have only access to the 37 million inhabitants, but 2.3 billion consumers, thanks to the signature of the free trade agreement with more than 50 countries. Morocco is the only country African country which has a free trade agreement with the European Union and also the US. In fact, the US and the European Union do not have any free trade agreement, but we share with both countries, both entities, United States and also European Union. So the African countries can also join this value chain in order to benefit from this. We also invested in the relationship between different African countries and Morocco. More than 1,000, let's say 5,000 bilateral agreements concluded over the last decade, and we are part of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And now we have a diversity of agreements, not only economical, but in education, training, health, infrastructure, agriculture, information technologies. So it is just a large range of partners that developed all this relationship between the African state and Morocco, and this is exceptional. And finally, why is it interesting to talk about the sourcing from Morocco? In fact, we have different automotive. The Moroccan system is the first exporter, and we are the first manufacturer of vehicles, transport vehicles. We are able to achieve 1 million vehicles, like a country like Italy. We are becoming an industrial power, and our objective is to achieve 80%. So all these opportunities are there to develop more integrated value chains, and the growth rates is more than 33%, and our export will be up to 10 billion USD, just to give you an idea of the strength and the importance of this sector, aeronautics sector. Let's say that Morocco is one of the key manufacturers of components in Africa. We experienced growth over the last 5 years. Despite COVID-19, the annual growth is 20%, and we have more than 140 aeronautical operators. We have most airliners which are located in Morocco and have signed some supply agreements. One was signed in 2016 by the King with Boeing, up to 1 billion USD per annum from Morocco. Agro-industry is one of the key historical sectors, and it is fostering, and we are moving. We can see different operators and partners which are taking ground in our country, and this is likely to foster the agribusiness. There are so many partnerships that could be concluded with our brother countries, and the outsourcing is more than 58%. We are able to double this in volume and also in quality, because we have some countries with high added value which are establishing in Morocco, coming to Morocco. So it is a real opportunity for the building of these resilient services. There are so many investors from Morocco which are investing in other countries, but we also have other countries which are present, who have some grounds, some strongholds in Morocco and are trying to extend. Now, pharmaceutical sector is going to extend, to scale up, because we have some requests from our international partners concerning risk mitigation. The idea is to find new countries that will be some points, connection points. We respecting the best standards. We respect the best standards at global level. Nothing to envy the best lab in Europe and America. We are also able to work with our African brother countries, and so on and so forth. There are so many to say, but we are ready. Other sectors, textile, imagine Benin, and with the cotton just to use as part of the ecosystem of this sector. So many examples showing that working together in order to build these value chains will help us pull up our benefits. So there is no better conclusion, even if the Minister of Investment use it, just to quote the king. Africa is a great continent, and it should, you should believe in Africa. Thank you. Thank you so much for this brilliant presentation.